Really? This was our slow dance at prom. It was fucking awesome. All right. A lot of you have heard me say some pretty fucked up shit up here. Yeah. All right. I have never said this phrase, ever. I'm going to say it now, because I thought about this, and I know where I'm going. But just stay with me on this one. Okay? I just need you to stay with me. I was preparing for this, and I had a lot of different things I wanted to talk about, and I had a lot of different ideas. And then I had an epiphany, so I only have one joke, and it's about abortion. A little bit about me. I like to cook. It's a hobby. I like bell peppers. It's like one of my favorite vegetables. And I was cooking the other day, and I cut into this. I had a yellow one, and I cut into the bell pepper, and I popped my slice out, and I realized there was a tiny little baby green bell pepper inside, and I had cut into it, and I killed it. And I thought, abortion is wrong. Well, that kind of puts me in a little bit of a predicament because I'm a single dad and I have a daughter, so obviously my biggest fear is the teen pregnancy crisis, right? Well, now I'm kind of in a box. Abortion is wrong. So I thought about it, and I realized I should just skip the whole situation and just nudge my daughter to be a lesbian.
Yes.
Just a nudge. Just a nudge, because I understand sexuality. You can't force it on somebody. You can't. It's not. You can't pray the gay away. I don't know if it's a choice. I don't know if it's a choice or if you're born that way. It probably depends on the person. You know, like I understand it being, you know, you're just born that way. I have a preference for women. And you know, I will fuck anything with a pulse, but I do have a preference. I can understand it being a choice too, because like, let's face it, sometimes the opposite sex just really fucking annoying. We're just done sometimes, right? I get all the different, you know, sexual orientations and stuff, but there is one thing about the sexual orientation thing that I really don't understand, and that's sex changes. And what I really don't understand about sex changes is, you guys might use the phrase gender inequality, but I don't think it's really inequality so much as just different trade-offs, right? And then, you know, it's not really based around gender, it's more like attractiveness, right? So I'm going to say this. If you're a man and you want to become a woman, at some point you need to realize you're not going to be a pretty woman. If you're not a pretty woman, it's a lot like being a man. You're going to have to work. You cannot be a bitch. You have 2 times to be a bitch, and then everyone's just going to forget about it. The trade-off, if you are an attractive woman, you know, you get everything handed to you, which is awesome, but the trade-off is no one respects you. Because you had everything handed to you. It's not your fault. And then I don't really understand why a woman would want to become a man. Because you have to work, and is it really worth like just a little bit more money? You know, the trade-off on looks, like you have a better chance of being a pretty man going from a woman to a man. But the sex life trade-off, is that really worth it? I mean, you know, if you're a guy, you're pretty much either like elbow deep or bone dry. Right? There's no in between ground. And like elbow deep is like 3 times a month, maybe. If you're lucky. Less if you're married. I I don't know, I've never been married.
Sorry.
Less if you're married. If you're a woman, you have a special advantage. I could put you out in a cornfield in front of Mitchell, and within 10 miles of you, there are 3 guys who will have sex with you. Hands down, doesn't matter what you look like. There might have to be some conditions. But you can get there. You can get there. I don't understand why you would, if you were a woman, if you did get dealt that hand, it's a pretty amazing hand to have. You know, you're beautiful, you're the lovely gender, and you have this miraculous ability after 9 months to make a human being, another living person, and you were made to do that. That's your natural function. I'm a man, what do I got that compares to that? I stopped shaving, getting haircuts for 9 months, and I look like a racist Looney Tune character. That's all, I look like a guy who found Bo Bergdahl. Yeah, he had a hole in his lip too. Now, I don't know. I'm aware of what I look like, but I'm not really worried about it. I'm not really worried about like catching any flack from any racism, unless Trump gets elected president. Then I'm worried. Then you guys get brave. Until then, I am kind of glad that this guy is running for president because I've learned so much. It's like every time he opens his mouth, I just know in my soul he's just fucking wrong, and I feel compelled to Google it, and then it's like, oh, Trump was talking about the federal trade deficit, and 30 minutes later, I know the guy's a fucking moron. It's wonderful. And now I can tell somebody else what I learned. It's awesome. Trump, one couple things that I've learned from watching his campaign. 2 things he's tapped into that are really central to the way this country runs and the way it was built. The first thing I learned from watching the Trump campaign is that if you're loud enough, it doesn't matter how stupid you're being. You just gotta be loud, that's all. There was a town in California that almost passed legislation to ban dihydrogen monoxide just because somebody was shouting that it drowns people. Right? No, this was real. Like, they didn't pass it, but the guy who proposed it didn't run the next time around. He was gone. Dihydrogen monoxide is water. Yeah. You just gotta scream about it. People are drowning in the water. You need to get rid of it. There was another time this happened. It was about December. And Nicki Minaj was getting some shit from an international human rights group about December because she had agreed to do a show in Angola, right? And what these people said, Nicki Minaj is an international artist. She can't lend her stamp of approval to this brutal dictatorship. Now, if you were listening, you noticed they're not pissed that the brutal dictatorship is killing people and dumping bombs in these mass graves. They're pissed that they're going to pay Nicki Minaj to shake her ass. Then why? What's the point? Why even scream about something so stupid? Like, you know, I picture, like, you know, there's going to be a bunch of angry villagers with pitchforks and torches at the palace gates, and then Nicki Minaj is going to hop out, like, and they're just cool. Another 20 years of genocide, just like that, just because she shook her ass. Or like what? They're going to haul him in front of the International Criminal Court 20 years from now, and at the sentencing trial, it's going to be some big revelation that that's some obscure legal loophole. Like, oh, you know, you killed 2,000 people because of the color of their skin, but, you know, you paid Nicki Minaj to shake her ass at your daughter's 16th birthday, so, you're free to go. And to her credit, she handled it like we all should in that situation. She was honest. She just said, yeah, I agreed to do it. I was stoned as fuck. I didn't know what was going on. You know? They just asked me, hey, do you want to make $600,000 to shake your ass in Africa? Yeah. Sign me up. You have no right to judge her. You do the same thing. True. You know? If somebody told you I'll fly your ass first class, you don't even got to spend the night. Yep, sign me up. Shit, that's basically what I'm doing, and I just did it for a lot less than $600,000. The other thing I learned from the Trump campaign, and this is a core American principle, I've seen it play out 1,000 times. You can do anything you want if you have enough money. Everything has a price tag. You want to buy a home, you need money. You want to buy a car, you need money. You want to murder somebody, you need money. Yeah. You want to get away with it, you need a little bit more money. Unfortunately, the pattern I've noticed here is that the more money you're willing to spend, the more often your dream involves holding others hostage in some way, shape, or form. For instance, the Trump campaign itself, $17 million to run this farce of a presidential campaign, say a bunch of racist shit, act like a Nazi, create a media storm, and stupid reporters tell us about it, and even stupider people show up, and it becomes this national fucking train wreck that nobody can fucking look away from. God, all of you for $17 million. But it's not just things like the Trump campaign. It happens all the time. It happens here locally. You know, I listen to X-Rock. You guys listen to X-Rock? Yeah! That's why most of you are here, because of the free tickets. It's great. Thank you, Jersey. Now I like X-Rock. I don't like to change the station, so when an advertisement comes on that I don't really like, I'm kind of stuck there in the car listening to it. I'm not really being held hostage, but somebody's paying that advertising money. And there's one in particular, if you listen to X-Rock, he's from Gillette, Wyoming, so you probably know who I'm talking about right now, but this is America. It's not a good idea to talk shit about somebody with more money than you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you his name rhymes with truce, and he works at Schmarshall Jewelry. This guy pays for radio advertisement. And it's just this terrible fucking local, nobody can tell him that he's doing something terrible and horrible and that it sounds retarded when he talks. But he does it anyway. And the person who really gets the brunt of this situation is the sales rep for the radio station. Because he knows what's happening. I imagine there's a script that gets submitted and there's like a 2-week approval period for him to come in and do his thing, get everything scheduled out. So this guy's got to sit there the whole time knowing that this atrocity is going to go down in his studio, and he's going to press the record button and then transmit it to all of us, but he can't do anything about it. He's got kids, he's got a mortgage, he can't tell this guy to fuck off, he's in sales. He's got to do it. He doesn't have a choice. So he's kind of thinking, he's like, how can I nudge this guy in the right direction to where he's not going to commit this audible genocide? So the guy walks, he's like, okay, listen, it's kind of a short ad spot, and by the time you tell him who you are and what the sale is and where to find you, you really only got 30 seconds, we gotta cut some of this up. No! It's Oscar Gold! I wrote this myself! I'll pay $60,000 for 2 hours of airtime, and everyone will listen to every word I have to say! What do? You gotta say yeah. You can't tell him no. You'll be the guy who passed up all the money, and you get fucking fired. Your kids will starve. So then, fast forward to when you're done with editing, and I'm driving down the highway in my car, and I hear the end of a rock song. Willy wah, willy wah, willy wah. Hey, this is Truce down at Schmarshall Jewelry. Did you guys know that the Nazis used to rip the teeth out of the Jews to reclaim the gold fillings? They later melt them down and smelt them in the jewelry. Here at Schmarshall Jewelry, most of our gold is certified Nazi death free. Come on down and check for yourself. Hey, this is Truce from Schmarshall Jewelry. Did you guys know diamonds are a plentiful resource in Africa?
Oh, stop.
They're generally harvested from areas mysteriously beset with brutal genocide, often involving clubs and machetes. Here at Schmarshall Jewelry, our blood diamonds, however, are stained red with the vital fluids of South American miners, who died more or less willingly to retrieve these stones from the pit just for you. So come on down and check them out and let their sacrifice be in vain. Now I'm driving down the highway, and I hear that, and I can't help but think, this poor man at this jewelry store, how terrible was this kid's life growing up? Obviously no one loved him, and I end up thinking to myself, maybe the world would be a better place if that had been prevented. And that was my epiphany.